Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, bestower of immortality. Om Shri Krishnaya Namah. And today being Easter, Om Jesus, Jesus Christ. Christ and Krishna, one and the same. We are in chapter 4, entitled The Yoga of Wisdom. That's the goal of life, wisdom. If you don't have it, you are dub-dub. But what wisdom, what does it look like, what it is? That's the goal of life. And all the best of flavor you can enjoy in life is in pursuing wisdom and attaining wisdom. Verse number 20. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripto nirashraya karmanya vipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. You are being given the description of one who has attained the highest. And what are his characteristics? And that becomes your target. So, description of enlightened sage, that's your goal. All the characteristics of the sage have to be pursued, emulated. You have to grow in the image. And the sage is already grown into the image of God. The verse means, having renounced attachment to action and its fruits, he who is eternally contented, not contentment for 2 or 3 days, free of dependence. Even though he may be engaged in action, he does nothing at all, implying he is not trapped by karma. Let me give you deeper meaning now. The first point, nitya tripto. Tript means satisfied, contentment. To understand what will lead you to that type of contentment. Allow your mind to understand, is it the real goal to be contented or not? If you are dull wit, of course, your answer will be not clear. The goal is to be contented, absolutely. Tripti is described as Sankusha Tripti, Nirankusha Tripti. All satisfaction that you experience in the world has a condition with it. Something has happened, things are becoming wonderful, and enjoy it, no harm. Understand if there's a limit to it. You have been served wonderful hot tea, etc. Enjoy it, but there is a limit. You suddenly drink very hot food, tea into your mouth, your tripti, your contentment will just be shattered. So, your state of contentment is completely brittle in this world. Now, led by your karmas, good karmas give prosperous situation. During prosperous situation, there develops a sense of as if you have fulfilled your desires. But that's only an illusion. As long as there is vasana, subtle desire for finding enduring happiness in a world that is not real. If you want to find enduring happiness in a dream, oh God, give me a dream that will give me the highest. Figure it out. The moment dream moves away, it is not the reality. Let me give you a simple way to understand. Whatever work you do, there is phala vasana in your mind. Your mind is looking for something is going to make me very happy. And that's why I'm taking this project. Any project you do, there is a phala vasana. Vasana for a result. And I will detail upon it gradually. Nitya tripta. Tripti term means absolute, that vasana for result doesn't exist in a sage. As long as you are looking for happiness in the world, it's called salamban. There is always external support in your happiness. You are not yourself. You are not absolutely free. When you attain enlightenment, the happiness you enjoy is niralamb. You are not needing any support. Figure that out. Whole life people live. And whenever you think of being happy, you are thinking of near and dear ones who will contribute to your happiness. So it is salamba happiness, happiness in which you are dependent. Certain things have to happen in a certain way. And if things happen, oh, wonderful, wonderful. But come to that state of consciousness when we are not, all this you come to realize is nothing but Brahman. And that Brahman is I am. Now there is no dependence. For simpler way to understand, to make early in the morning you see sunshine. The illuminations of the sun create so much beauty and glory and lit up situation. Sun does not depend upon any one of these illuminations. If you are a reflected sun, you are needing all this support. You are needing the water. You are needing the pot. You are needing a whole world around you. But that's the predicament of every soul. Every soul is Brahman reflecting through your mind. Through your mind you are conjuring up, who am I? And that I, the same mind comes to a state of giving you the answer. The I is the soul. But as a soul, you find yourself constantly dependent upon countless things. You are dependent on your money, dependent on your near and dear ones. You are dependent upon your very, very close relatives. You are more dependent. In close-knit family, one near dear one becomes sulky. Now the whole family gets involved. So there is constant dependence. You are dependent on body condition. Constant dependence. But the real you, like the sun, has nothing to do with all this predicament of reflected suns trying to become stable. The reflected suns themselves are not realities. Souls are not realities. And that has to be understood through your own mind. And your own mind is not something definite. As knowledge develops, mind is like a cloud. When knowledge begins to develop, light has started flowing through the cloud. The more the mind comes to know of the reality, the more it begins to melt away. Try to bring to your mind the type of experience you have when your mind is absolutely calm and relaxed. That experience excels any other experience of joy and prosperity you may have in your life. All this is pointing out to the profounder goal. Every soul must discover and realize I am Brahman. I am the sun. In that realization, you have not lost anything. Only your desire to come back to the and stay in the pot and go from pot to pot, that desire will simply vanish. There is no purpose behind. In other words, you will not be drawn to the cycle of birth and death. So your goal is Nitya Tripti, absolute fulfillment. In order to attain that, Nirashaya. Nirashaya means do not have anything to depend upon. Throughout your life, you experience dependence, joyous dependence. as a baby in early stage, you are so dependent on your mother. You grow up a little, and when you are involved with playfulness, etc., you become dependent upon your yogi bear. Grow up a little, now you become dependent upon books and certain things that will help you in your school go further. In that process, you become dependent upon friends and move away from those who look like enemies to create a friendly group. And grow up a little. You are entering into grihasthashram, household life. Now you are experiencing interdependence, husband and wife. A constant interdependence. Early in the morning, should I be happy today? And the loved one says, oh yes, we should be both happy. But stay with me forever. There is always a but. I'm joking, but try to understand that. Nothing wrong with it, that's the way life is. In that dependence, if you were to figure out and allow a channel that what you are really depending upon is God. God within you gives you the fervor of your life. Who is giving you all that possibility in your little body? God. Every movement, senses are assisted by your mind. The mind is assisted by your intellect. Intellect by your chitta, a deeper unconscious. And behind all that, God. God is the seer, hearer, knower in every individual. That God is loved by you through names and forms. Led by karma, you are experiencing the same love, but you are not recognizing it. If that type of understanding dawns, that again understanding comes progressively. You become good to people, not just fulfill your sentiment. Then your love has a higher quality. Otherwise, all your love is dependent upon, he has been good to me for 2 days, I will be good for him for 2 days. Mathematical. But come to a different level. The sense of being good, to love, that you are loving God in every individual. So your mind should not develop restriction within itself, but love becomes much greater and much more profound. In spite of persons whom you love, and they are different situations. Put it in a very simple way. Every individual is subject to adversities, diseases, Think of patients. Patients are subject to go through many turmoils. If you love the person and patient under the influence of the disease starts shouting at you, says all types of bitter things from your very early days, the patient met with you. If you are ordinary person, you will curse the patient and move away. You are extraordinary person, you will have a compassionate prayer for the person who is mentally deranged or mentally feeling stressed. You will have more compassion and will seek a divine guidance. You will go to a good doctor and say, please help that person. Your love will work in a totally different way. So, how to turn your ordinary love, moha-based love, to a higher form of love until it becomes divine love. That's the whole story of love. One type of love makes you fall in love, and then get your legs completely messed up. Another type of love, soar in love. Soaring in love, that makes you really religious. Really Godward movement, because the real love is God alone. So, continuing this description, how you are constantly dependent. So, in having married, now we are dependent on each other, wife and husband. Now, a little more time, now you are dependent upon your baby. Even your mutual love is not so much important. You shout at your wife or your husband if baby is not being treated well. And wife has one way to think of the baby's treatment. Husband has another way to think. So there is a trouble. And in this process, now become dependent upon, you have to have good income, money. And another thing you want, a good recognition from the neighbors and people around you, that you are a good person, you are a good family. So anytime your baby does something cute, take a picture. Send to all the families. And go viral. Nothing is wrong. What I'm trying to say in all this, try to bring into your mind that all this has some meaning because of God behind it. In every act of yours, it should not be your attachment to external wealth. It shouldn't be an attachment to external situations, but attachment to God. God is being brought into cute babies. God is being brought into your all relationships. Godward movement changes the quality of your love, puts you in a higher level, allows you to be good and do good in a dynamic way. And that is the purpose of life. That's real religion, call whatever name. If that is not there, that's not Godward movement. The real goal, real support behind every individual, Paramatma, the Supreme Self. Any other support, kshanik, momentary. In scriptural language, even 100 years is a moment. Now, how do you move away from all this support? Move away doesn't mean that you practically turn away. Your attitude go on changing. First stage comes vairagya. You begin to understand you are seeking support, but all these things that you are supported upon, they are not permanent. Godward support allows all things come to you according to your need. So that state of mind is called vairagya. Now you are not being duped by objects. And you begin to draw support. Most profound support comes from satsanga, led by good karmas. When you come into association where you are brought spiritual teachings to your view, purview. And as you begin to study scriptures, called swadhyaya, do japa, prayer, etc., you gradually begin to move away from being dependent upon the world to being absolutely void of dependence. Even the state of samadhi, you enter into a profound state where mind becomes mystically concentrated. Samadhi is not ordinary state. Even in that samadhi movement, early stage, there is alamban. You are dependent upon some mental concept, some mental picture of the deity. The final state, called niralamba. You are not dependent at all. All this seems like difficult to understand, but it is very easy. When you go to sleep, deep sleep state is niralam. You are not dependent upon anything. But early stage, you are dependent upon your bed. Your room has to be according to your liking. Pillow has to be set well. Your body has to be agreeable. All that has to go on. But once you are in deep sleep, you will not depend upon anything. Even your ego, you are not dependent upon. When ego moves away, then you are not thinking of anything of the world, past, present, future, nothing. That should give you deep insight of the ultimate goal. An ultimate goal is not somewhere there. It's there, potential. God is ever-present reality in your heart. He is the only reality. Anything else you are thinking of is illusions. So this is what we call nirashraya. First point was nitya tripta, being absolutely contented deep down. Next, same contentment is extended, nirashraya. You are not dependent upon anything. Otherwise, the world provides for you a strange situation. You find yourself in a very joyous situation because of some close personalities whose association gives you so much thrill. But then Easter moves away. And those family members are gone. Now you face loneliness. You become worse lonely when people whom you expected to give you so much thrill, and they come and they end up scolding you. Now you don't know what to do. You waited for such a long time. So this is called Maya, the world of illusion. You can resolve it by allowing your mind to understand love of God is your project. The entire creation has been presented for you to wake up and turn towards God's love. And when you do, your individuality will not be there. A river is told your love is ocean. Now the river follows the teaching, moves on to the ocean without shaken by emotion. And ultimately, having met the ocean, the river has no individuality. The river is the ocean. Karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karotita. Though apparently doing all the karmas, everything that is, as long as you have body, you have to wake up, use your legs, wink with your eyes. I'm joking. You have to do all the duties. If you are a teacher, you will teach. And of course, if you are a spiritual personality enlightened, you will share your knowledge as long as you are alive. Utilize your personality for jnana yajna, to inspire others. But while doing all this, you will find that advanced personalities bring out more work than you can imagine. But people will do in so many years. Qualitative work is simple, short, and it has long-lasting effect. Precision type of work becomes possible as your mind moves towards Godward movement. Less timing, less exertion, more spontaneity, more inner joy, and your work gets spiritual fragrance, aroma. All this dynamic activity moves from sages. and come to the sage as if he does nothing, limp. I'm joking. He was like, he is calm, Mauna, silent. All that you are impressed with, how peaceful he is. But that peace is a source of all inspirations. Peace that surpasses all your concepts and imaginations. If you are not enlightened, you are dependent upon your chitta. Chitta is your whole mental process. Your intellect, your mind, your ego, your senses, all together is chitta stage. And that chitta is always changing. It's never static. In the state of enlightenment, you are no longer dependent upon chitta. Your personality is, but your personality you are not. To the others, that's the way he is. So many feet tall, and this is his picture, etc. The reality of the sage is not the personality. You have to understand that. And that applies to everyone. A baby looks at the mother with modern equipment, takes the picture. But mother is not just that picture. Twenty-first verse. Nirashiriyat chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan apnoti kilvisham. Devoid of cravings, with the body and mind under his control, having renounced all objects of pleasure, a yogi performs actions only to maintain his body. After death, he does not come back into the world process that is beset with misery. Same point is further extended. Since he is absolutely fulfilled by God realization, there is no craving. The reflected sun is full of craving. It's imperfect, always wants to shine bright. Sun has no craving. Sun does not crave for special rainbows, a special type of sunset and sunrise. Countless things develop out of the sun. But in sun, all this gets transcended. So that is the state of enlightenment, when you are at the very root, source, the absolute reality within yourself. We are aware of body awareness. It's not in your body. It is in your mind. This point we'll understand when you go to hospital and they make you unconscious. They tap on your brain. The very idea I am the body is not coming from the body, from the physical body. It is the magic of the mind. Your entire body, mind, intellect set is the iPad. Not the small I, the big I. I am pad. nirashir. Everyone depends upon asha. Asha is expectation. Every project you do, there is asha behind it. All that is perfectly normal. Only if you can understand, in order to fulfill your expectation, your goal is to attain enlightenment. Keeping that goal in view, you follow in a progressive manner. The project of fulfilling your expectation must go into a sattvic movement. That will make you, say for example, if you are angry person, must makes you more relaxed. If you are angry 5 days a week, now become angry once a month. You are moving on the right track. But you will live with expectation. And expectation rules over you, then you will be constantly agitated and angry. Sanskrit words are good to understand. Expectation because apeksha. Everyone is constantly expecting. The opposite term is upeksha. You are expecting certain things joyously, lovingly, but then suddenly you find what you have invited is not really what you wanted. Then upeksha. You want to turn away from the object, or you want the object to turn away from you. The mind goes on using its energy. Expectation, then expectation becomes twisted, and then you don't know whether you are following your expectation or your aversion. Simple points, likes and dislikes, attachment and hatred. All this predicament doesn't exist when you are enlightened. No expectation. And you don't deal with something that is negative to your mind. Next quality, yata chittatma. Body and mind under his control. This point is brought out in scriptures and the Gita also. Consider your whole personality as a chariot. Your senses are the horses. Mind is the reins by which horses are constantly controlled. And mind is guided by your intellect. Intellect is a chariot driver. And your soul is being led by God's direction. Ultimately, who controls the entire chariot? God. This type of setting must be understood. In other words, do not fall for what your senses are telling you. Use your mind. But again, while using your mind, understand mind that is being guided by intellect That mind will give you the right type of movement. And also intellect that is not restricted by ego. Instead of going through too much complex way of understanding, bring about surrender to God. Bring the spirit of surrender. Once that has happened, all this will happen spontaneously. Once the chariot has come under the control of God, or God becomes the controller of your chariot, all things will be corrected automatically. God will inspire the intellect. Intellect will have no problem. There will be no need to drunk driving. Ropes will be completely under control. The horses will be delighted to follow that type of chariot setting. All are happy. That's the picture of enlightened state. Third quality, tyakta parigraha, tyakt sarva parigraha, renouncing all possessions. This doesn't mean literally. Deep down there is no sense of ownership. I am the owner, I am the possessor. Any attainment in the world doesn't give you that ego. Rather, it gives you humility. Such a yogi performs actions only to maintain his body. From his point of view, he is simply allowing the karma to run through. The body is maintained by whether you are a sage or not. Your body depends on how long will you live. Depends upon your karma. Just to reiterate, when we talk of karma, you have three types of karma. Sanchita, accumulated storehouse, that's very vast. And that stay in your unconscious. But this subtle mechanism of God, countless karmas, and they don't take place even for 1 inch of space. It is subtle. Out of countless karmas, only a pinch of karma has given you this embodiment. So if you don't attain enlightenment, you have big resources of coming back again and again to amazing embodiments. Out of that pinch, that's called prarabdha. Prarabdha gives you jati, ayu and bhoga. Jati, what class, where should you be born, in what family. Ayu, how long will you be living. And bhoga means a general plan of adversity and prosperity in life. But while all this goes on, if you are not enlightened, you have the possibility to modify your prarabdha by your karma, by your self-effort. The major points are secure. Minor things you can make many adjustments. Mortality is secure. But how do you live during your life? Many things. And even in your mortality, if you are going to die led by your prarabdha at 60, Purushartha can push your 60 to 70, 80, 90. So self-effort makes changes on your prarabdha. A simple point. But limited. The real self-effort makes another, through your self-effort for attaining enlightenment. Now you begin to draw divine grace. And God begins to work with you, and you enter into a process of wonder. Wait, wonder. Wait, watch and wonder. So, though outwardly appearing as doing so many things, internally he is not restricted by karma. He is not trapped by karma granthi, not of karma. He is completely free. Therefore, he is not going to be born. The cycle of birth and death, as long as the soul is subjected to the cycle of birth and death, this is called bhava vyadhi. The soul is suffering from the most terrible disease, worse than millions of cancer. And that disease has to be remedied. And with this, we conclude for tonight. Om. Prayer for health, long life, peace, prosperity, and enlightenment for all of you. And a special prayer on Easter Day. Om, Om, Jesus, Jesus Christ. Om, Jesus, Jesus Christ. Om, Triambakam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Urvarukum Bandhanan. Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.